Well, hello everybody. Welcome to my very first video for this new channel. And what I plan to do is to show you every new guitar that I build, talk about it a little bit, explain to you the theme. I don't know how the sound quality is coming through. I don't have any special microphone or anything like that. But this is an amazing guitar. It's relatively new, and it's of course a ZT, a Zachary Tele. That's what it stands for. And the body is made of mahogany, 2 pieces, and you can see this guitar on the website, of course. And I made it 40 millimeters thick, which is a lot thinner than the regular Telecaster, that one being 46 millimeters. So it's based on the very early pre-production Fender prototypes that Leo had made. And it's just very sleek body. It's lighter because of the thinness, and of course the ZT shape is a update on the Telecaster. And the way that works is that I got rid of this clumsy lower horn with much better high fret access, and I put on the contour in the back here, and I usually put in a contour here like a Strat would have for comfort, and I put in a contour back here, but this one doesn't have it because the theme was to just get something very, very basic. And what I do here is I build hot rods, and every guitar is different. Every guitar has its own theme, and I wanted this one to be very, very basic, yet very traditional, and keeping to the authenticity of the Telecaster. Now that's very important to me. I consider it a sacrilege if somebody puts a humbucker in the bridge position of a Telecaster. You no longer have a Telecaster. So you have to stick to the very essence of this guitar in order to get what a Telecaster is supposed to be, I make sure some things can never change, such as where the neck joins the body. That is exactly. I'm working off of the specifications of the Broadcaster, which is the very first production of the Telecaster, called the Broadcaster. And I have all the specifications, and this body is actually very accurate in its shape. Well, it's exact, it's digitally scanned. And then once I have the exact scan, the exact shape, the exact size, I then do my contouring. But it's based on the original. It's very important. But of course, some things that are not essential are improved. Okay? And you of course get the Zachary neck, which is a much wider neck here, and this particular one is extra wide. I forget what it is. I think my regular necks are what, 45.5 millimeters at the nut, which is I believe a little bit over 1 3/4 inches. Now this one, I had to alter my neck template when I was cutting out the neck. I had to alter it for a certain reason, and this one came out even thicker. And of course, you would think that I'd be prepared and tell you what that width is, but I don't know it. It's probably 46, 47 millimeters. It should be on the website, by the way. I think it is. And it should be, what, 46, 47 millimeters at the nut, the width of it. So you get tons of room. You're not cramped. Now, if you compare this to a standard Telecaster, or even worse, a vintage Telecaster, it's going to feel horrible to you, because you're literally going to be like that. And I know that there's great players that play great music and have great technique on traditional Telecasters, but let me tell you that they would do even better, 100 times better, if they played this guitar, because every detail is addressed, everything is improved that needs improving. On a Telecaster, they didn't get this the string spacing. The string spacing is too wide compared to the neck, so you're literally your high and low E are right at the edge, basically hanging off the fingerboard, and it's a mess. And this one, lots of room. Everything is proportioned and sized correctly. And of course, you've got the Zachary headstock here, which doesn't have a tilt to it, so the grain of the wood, it's very important, the grain of the wood is completely unbroken. Instead, like something really severe would be a Gibson headstock, which is slanted, and of course the grain is cut off and it's very weak. If you have a Les Paul at home, you could literally try this if you like. You could take your fingers and you could snap the headstock right off. This one, you'd never do that. And I think it matters quite a bit in terms of, tone, because it's all one continuous grain all the way through. What else can I tell you? Again, I wanted it to be very raw, very primal, and pickups are directly mounted. Well, not directly mounted, but they don't have any useless pickup rings or just right in the cavity. The cavity is sized correctly for this application, of course. The pick guard is made of the original fiber material that the original broadcasters had. The first 4 years of Telecaster production, which are called the black guards because they had a black fiber pick guard, and this is the same material. However, if you're clever enough, you will notice that it is in the shape of a Gretsch, and it fits it beautifully. And except it's downsized from it's made smaller than the Gretsch, but the same shape. One volume knob, and the cool Les Paul 3-way toggle, and you've got everything you need. This half bridge here has the advantage of not adding an extra magnetic field to the pickups, so you've got the pure pickup tone, and it's very nice and bright, just the traditional quintessential Telecaster tone, feel, everything. The finish turned out really cool. I really love it. It's obviously it's a relic worn type of finish on it, and it's just a guitar that you're dying to play. You wake up in the morning wanting to play this guitar, and that's exactly what I want to achieve with this, with all my guitars. And I gave the neck a slight aged yellowish stain, and everything just fits really nice. And of course, the new development is the spiked neck joint. You no longer see the 5 screws. Now I can go to 4 screws, and right here, that little hole is the spike, and there's a threaded screw, if you want to call it that, that fits into a metal little cavity, little metal fitting, and that controls and varies the angle of the neck. So setup is beautiful, and tone is unmatched because there's no damping of the body. There's really no contact to the body, believe it or not. Maybe contrary to you have been led to believe, but it's the same effect as you would get on, as I explained on the website, on high-end stereo audiophile speakers, where they are on a stand, on spikes, with nothing touching the carpet and directly going into the wood of the floor. And that concentration of tone transfer with no dampening effect of any material standing in between is what creates much better sustain, more pronounced highs, just the clarity of the instrument. What else can I tell you about it? Oh yeah, and the screws are no longer wood screws. They are now machine screws that fit into threaded stainless steel inserts, which are embedded into the neck. And so if you wish, you can take this neck off as many times as you want. If you're flying on an airplane and you don't want to check the guitar in to get it destroyed, you can simply take the neck off and put it overhead. And of course, the frets up to the 16th fret, they're really jumbo, extremely jumbo size frets, and then from 16 all the way to 24, they are mid-size frets and medium-sized frets, and that to give you more space as you play up here. And of course, all my guitars have 24 frets. I mean, I can't play anything without 24 frets. Why on earth would they not give a guitar 24 frets? It's one of my pet peeves. You got 2 full octaves. If you're like most of us, you play a lot in the key of E, and then you have full 2 octaves. All the way up here. And here you're hearing the middle setting, which is both pickups together. Let me just move this down a bit so you can see the guitar. Now let's go to the bridge. Got a very big sound. It really cuts through, like I said. Now when you go to the neck pickup, it has that nasally. Again, that's the neck pickup. Let's go to the both pickups on. Now the bridge. Alright, I'm getting a little bit warmed up now. Anyway, just a few more things I want to tell you about this guitar. I'm a stickler for detail, so I look at everything about the guitar, and just in case you don't know anything about these guitars, it has a special material for the nut which keeps it almost perfectly in tune. It's quite amazing, and what I've done with it is even the saddles are compensated for intonation, these brass saddles. However, the way they come from the factory, it's not correct, and the compensation is not correct on it. So what I do is I alter the saddles. I alter where the strings contact the saddles so that you pretty well get almost perfect intonation on this guitar, and it's a basically a Telecaster. What else? Again, to stick to the very vintage theme of this instrument, I used a traditional Telecaster jack, and instead of doing the awkward metal piece on the inside that keeps the jack in the wood, which always gets loose after a while, what I did is I actually drilled the inside. I put two little screw holes in, and I put two little small screws right into the wood to keep it in there without using that metal piece. I mean, this is all detail. You probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but that's okay. I'm just trying to point out to you that I like to take care of every detail. What's that disease called? OCD? Well, I got OCD. I got it bad. But in this profession, when you're doing this kind of work, you need to have OCD, okay? and you need to be very, very detail oriented, and you really have to know guitars. You have to know them intimately. You have to know the history of the guitars. You have to know them technically. You have to know the materials. You have to know the correct hardware. You have to know pickups. So there's a lot that you need to know. And again, I went with more traditional little string ferrules here. Again, I wanted to keep it correct. The correct machine heads, of course, the Clouson style, except these are Godot's. They're very, very good quality. I love these machine heads. And one of the things that I don't like doing, that even Leo Fender did on his Telecasters, in that he mixed chrome plating with nickel plating, and that really bugged me. And I like to either go chrome, or all nickel, not mix the two. Because they do look differently. And again, if you got OCD, it bugs the hell out of me. I can't sleep at night. Just a lot of little details that I forget to even mention to you. And the neck pickup is custom made for me. And what I had asked for is for the pole pieces, which are the magnets on a Fender pickup. I wanted the magnets staggered a specific way in order to give every string equal volume balance. And again, that's something that the original Telecaster pickup does not have, but I specify all my pickups to be staggered like that if they need to be. So this is a custom made pickup, and it's got perfect balance to it. And again, I had a company copy the exact 1952 Telecaster knob. Right here I just have a piece of rubber over it because I do volume swells and it's easier to grab. Let me see. You can just hear that train going, right? Wah, wah, wah! Honking the horn, right? So, anyway, getting back to the knob, talking about detail-oriented, it's the exact copy of a 52 Telecaster knob, except what I didn't like about the 52 original knob, okay? It was made of solid brass, machined out of brass, and brass has a lot of lead in it. That's how they make brass, and because of that, brass is very heavy, and I hate heavy things on a guitar. Why have heavy things on a guitar? Why make the guitar heavy? I want guitars to be as light as possible. This is a light guitar, okay? So I had the exact knobs made, but made out of aluminum. How's that? Isn't that brilliant? So these are very expensive knobs. Again, detail, and but they're special because they're made of aluminum. But you have the exact look of a vintage knob. What else? I love these bridges, by the way, because you can string them through the body, or you can top load them. And if you top load them, the angle of the break angle of the strings is going to be less. Therefore, you're going to get less tension. overall on every string, so you can reduce the tension. If you want to go that route, you can go either way, right? That gets us to the strings. Well, guess what strings I'm using? Ha 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 ha. Well, I'm the originator, in case you don't know this, I'm the originator of optimized guitar and bass strings. And this is a huge innovation, and it's a revolution in strings. And if you've never used them, then you don't know what you're missing. It's going to change your life. If you're a bass player, well, forget it. You must be using them. If you're a 5-string bass player, you must be using them. I'm gonna do a video on optimized strings, and these are called Zachary Optimum Gauges, ZOG, ZOG for short, and I sell them all over the world. I don't advertise. It's just word of mouth. Send a lot to Europe, a lot to Australia, US, of course. And when you put it on your guitar, it basically makes your guitar function perfectly for the first time. And I don't really want to get into it in this video, but basically what it does is every string is going to feel evenly tensioned, and it's going to sound evenly, and it's not going to be under tensioned. Therefore, your guitar physically would just simply function better. Okay, and that goes for bass as well. And for $5 for a guitar set, you gotta be an idiot not to use it. Okay, and once you use it, you'll never go back. You'll never go back to anything else, because ordinary guitar strings do not have any design to them. These are actually correctly designed. These have a design to them. Okay, I've talked too long about the strings. We'll do that in a future video. What else? Well, I aged the tuner knobs as well, tuner buttons, to match the guitar. Like I say, everything matches on this. It works as a complete theme, and these basically have my 9 optimized set on it. So with a Tele, I like to go with 9s. I like to get that twang out of it. And one very important point, which I forgot to mention, is that where this kind of, I make 2 types of ZTs, Zachary Telecasters. I make them either with the traditional 25.5" scale, the neck, or I make them with a vintage Gibson scale, which is shorter. And this is the vintage Gibson scale, and it just gives a more compact feel to the instrument, and so basically whatever you like. Alright, so this is what I do, and if you want me to make you a guitar like this, then you let me know, and I'll make you the best guitar you've ever played and ever will play in your life. And I do that because every guitar is made for me. So if something is made for me, you know, I'm going to take the time and I'm going to make it awesome. So thank you very much for watching. Appreciate your support. Order some strings, and future videos we'll get into some other Zachary gear that I have come up with and created for me, and therefore for you. Thanks again for watching. See you later.